What is going on, guys? So today I'm gonna be taking you for a ride. I'm building this turbo manifold for this Evo8 or 9, I don't know which one it is. I think it's an 8. But I got this Evo8 in here. It's a fully built motor. It's got a pretty sick setup on it right now, but he just wants a nicer looking forward facing setup, which they're not like actual forward facing, or they're right there. They're like up here in like the grill area. But I almost forgot to record me taking all this stuff off. So I missed me taking off the intercooler, which that was pretty simple. So just held on by like one bracket right in there. But so I'm about to take the headers off right now, or I guess turbo manifold. And the easiest way to do this is just undo the downpipe, the intercooler piping, the oil feed line that's right here, and the return line that's under there somewhere. Because these bolts in this turbo are freaking on there. Like, I try to take one of them out and they definitely feel like they're gonna break, so it's easier just to take it out all in one piece. I already took the wastegate off too, that was over there. But like, the reason why he's switching up his setup too is because whoever did the kit before, I mean, they kind of like half-assed some shit. It's kind of hard to get this thing to focus. But yeah, like that's a crack right there that runs all the way over there, and like this thing's just cracked a lot of places. And his manifold's cracked right in here too. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but yeah, you can see it right there. There's a crack in there, right on the wastegate elbow. So we're gonna remake this thing, make a sick forward-facing setup for it, put this 62 on it, and I'll show you guys how to somewhat make a turbo manifold. It might be a little complicated, but it should be interesting. Also, before I forget, get too ahead of myself, we'll put some blue tape on his fenders so that way nothing happens to it. I mean, I don't think anything will happen to it, but I don't want it to get all greased up and oily and whatnot, so tape these bad bitches up real quick. Alright, so now that I got all the bolts off but this one nut on this side, I'm going to take the oil feed line off real quick, and then I'm going to have to probably go underneath the car, maybe take the bolts off of this return line fitting because it's really tight down in there. So I'm going to do that real quick. So now I just need to take the oil return line off real quick, and this is what I was talking about. You see, like, there's no room in there for me to get down there, so I'm going to have to try to take it off the turbo right here. See if I can get anything in there. So he also wanted to upgrade his intercooler, so he ordered I think this is from like AMS, I think. It's a 4-inch core. This bad bitch is thick. So we're gonna be putting this 4-inch core on there real quick. I just gotta get this mounted up because he wants the turbo to sit just like right above this side of the end tank. So I'm gonna mount this up first and then start mocking up the turbo inside the engine bay. So earlier I actually said this was an AMS intercooler, which I'm tripping, it's an ETS. But ETS does a really good job with these. These things mount up really nice. So, +1 for ETS.
They videotape it on Instagram, them handing keys. You know, like those one dudes like, oh, we got this like pro charge.
Motherfuckers being loud as fuck. They just trying to film some stuff. But I can't remember where I left off, but I had the owner come over here and figure out where he wanted the turbo placed.
Nobody asked.
Fuck off. But I just made this little weird contraption that moves on like a whole bunch of different axes. And it just to the engine bay. It just bolts right to like the oil feed line spot on the turbo. And I locked that in place, bolted the collector to it, and then ran this runner right here. I didn't really show how to do that, but it's pretty simple. I mean, you just cut and make some bends. I can try to show in more depth of how to run these two, but these two are pretty simple. I got these all tacked up. I just gotta run these other two now. Like off here too though. Like how like
and we're rolling.
Okay. Marker. Mark it.
Alright, here, fuck you.
What type of lines are those? What are those? Okay.
My arm was like fucking backwards.
Just don't mix these up like.
Oh, how am I supposed to draw like this?
Okay, bud, you done did messed up. Right one.
Look at this one trick.
You just, I think.
So yesterday, I was trying to show you guys getting this runner tacked up. And I got it pretty close yesterday. But it was really late last night and it was starting to piss me off. So it like just like hardly doesn't fit. It needs to come up a little bit. But so I'm gonna have to mess with this right here, I think. It's just kind of hard like trying to hold it with one person or like hold it and tack it because it always moves a lot. But I'm just trying to get this flat right here. It's just really hard, but that's how this runner's gonna go kind of. It should look pretty cool. It's really simple, but I'm gonna try and see if I can mess with this runner. So I got this runner tacked up and finally fitted on there pretty good. Fits pretty decent, but I have to break these tacks off real quick right here because I forgot to bevel this piece. So I gotta take this off and bevel this real quick and then tack the runners back up, and then I'll start making this one. I didn't show much of running this runner right here, but it's pretty simple. It was just like the other one, but I got it all tacked up really good. Got the turbo dangling there. It looks pretty sick, I think. Turbo just chilling right here in the front. Oh yeah. I gotta go pick up a filter for it because he wants a filter on it, but he said he wants to put a filter on it for normal driving, then take it off whenever he goes parks it somewhere so you can see that billet wheel. So I'm about to weld some of the runners up right now. Got some of this taped off so that way the argon doesn't leak out of it. I'm just gonna try to weld some on this runner and on this runner for now, and then I'll take this tape off and weld a little bit on that so that way they don't warp as bad once I pull them off and try to line them back up. But I'm gonna do that for all of these runners, so I'll probably get these ones welded up for the most part and then cut these runners back off and then weld some of these and then cut them off and weld them fully up. And I got this plate right here clamped to the head flange to help it not warp as much, which it probably won't warp much right now or pull at all because I'm only welding a little bit on the runners, but it's better to be safe than sorry because a warped head flange is fucking annoying. I'm gonna let the back purge go for a little bit and then start welding these runners up. So I just got the two inner runners broken off of the collector and the head flange. I got them chilling over here. I acetone wiped both of them and put this little plug here with some holes in it so the argon can flow out of it. And I'm gonna put the argon hose in this side, get my back purge running, and then start welding this one up completely, and then do the next one, and then tack them back on the collector before I cut these two off. Well, actually, I'm probably gonna leave this one on there until I get the other two tacked on there, and I'm gonna cut this one off too. And then I'll tack the other two back on, and then I'll break this one off last and weld this one on last because that one looks like it'll be the easiest one to weld on after I have these two back on and this one on. So I'm gonna get these welded up real quick. So I got all the runners welded up. The other one's just chilling over here. I got these three tacked on there because this one looks like it'll be the easiest to weld after all the other three are on the collector. This one's always the hardest to do. Is once you start welding these runners on, it's like impossible to get in there. So I'm gonna start welding on the collector and some on the head flange and see how big of a pain in the ass this is. Got my back purge going. Should be ready to weld. I just got everything welded up. Everything is welded to the collector and the head flange. Just gotta wait for it to cool down a little bit, but I think it came out pretty good. I'm just gonna bolt the turbo up real quick once it cools down and put it back on the Evo. See what it looks like, and then I'm going to bed because I'm tired as shit. Got the manifold on the car with the turbo just with 2 bolts just to see how everything lines up. Everything lines up really good. The head flange is a little warped, but that's normal. Turbo just chilling there. I'm gonna double check and see if the filter I got works. Just gotta make the downpipe and intercooler piping tomorrow,
and fix the oil feed and return, and everything should be good on it. It's gonna be a sick little car. Freaking fully built motor. The old turbo, this turbo right here, was on 33 psi before, and I made like 600. So this one's gonna be on like 40 psi just to make the 650 that he wants. He wants to make 700, but I think it's gonna max out this turbo right around 650. The customer also wanted a filter to fit, and so I got this little K&N filter, and it just barely clears everything. So it's kind of nice. But yeah, that's the manifold on this Evo. It's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed.